guys, so you're kind of getting introduced to a new website. It's called Define STEM, okay? The really cool thing about this website is it gives you kind of a step-by-step help with creating a project, okay? So the project you're going to be working on, it's going to take it a step further for what you've been talking about with flowers, their parts, their functions, okay? So Mr. Pearson and I decided to give you guys a little bit of a challenge, okay? So you're going to be working in small groups. So you're going to be taking on the role of a floral designer, okay? Floral meaning with flowers, okay? So now on this web page, which you guys are going to use a QR code with the iPads so that you can, your page, except for this blue bar, you guys are going to see this exact same thing, okay? So it just kind of helps to organize how you're going to do your project.
You know, this is so new, actually. Even last week, Thursday, we had a staff meeting where all the teachers had to go, and Mrs. Timothy taught us to use this, so we all had to do this ourselves. So just like you, we were students last week, and now you're students.
I made Mr. Pearson do some research, and he had to do a project. He got it done.
Bats.
Yeah.
Did you make a flower?
No, we did ours on bats because ours were on animals.
So Mr. Pearson's been in your shoes. He knows how to use this, so if you have any questions, okay, you should be asking both of us. So let me explain. You're going to be a designer of a 3D flower model, okay? Now, we should all know what this means. What's the D stand for?
Three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional, okay? So, your floral design team has received the illustrious distinction of being selected to create a floral design representing the state of Virginia, okay, where we live, all right? Local florists and nurseries would like the design to showcase a variety of beautiful flowers native to our state. Each design group will need to research and design a 3D model of a flower native to Virginia. So who can put that in your own words? What is it that you think right now that your challenge is? How would you put it in your own words? Go for it, Melissa.
That we have to make a 3D flower that is that's like a state flower of Virginia.
Yeah, just like our animals, we did our research about that, like our habitats and that. All those animals were in Virginia. It's the same thing. Flowers in Virginia.
So, you'll see this word a lot in your performance task. So native meaning where something or you come from, okay? So you're going to be focusing on flowers that naturally grow and are from Virginia, okay? So that's what, so it's our own state. Now the local florist part, I really want you guys to put yourself in the position, this is an actual real job in the world, okay? I didn't make it up. The only part that may not actually really happen is local florists and nurseries coming to see. But you guys are going to be in middle school next year, and then before you know it's going to be high school and college. So you want to start thinking in the way that someone has to do the way that they do at their job. Okay, so you're pretending you're an actual floral designer, and you need to create something. So you want it to be your best work.
You know, actually too, Mrs. Gary works at a flower store.
She sure does.
So she's, I'm not exactly sure if she's the floral designer or what part she has in it, but it's certainly a real job.
I know for sure she does arrangements. Like she has to arrange the bouquets so that they're sold in the store. So she makes really ugly arrangements. You think they're going to sell a lot of flower bouquets? No. Okay, so it's an actual profession. So some big ideas. This shouldn't be anything new for you. Things to think about: the structure and function of plants and their parts. You guys have notes on that in your science notebook. Use them to your advantage.
Saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
Microscope and magnifying glass.
Exactly. And you guys were really doing a really good job using that vocabulary. So you want to apply that to your project today. And then we know that different characteristics of plants help some populations to survive and reproduce in greater numbers. So we want to look at how these plants have been surviving in Virginia. Okay? We know we want to think about basic needs. What are the functions of the plant that your group decides to go with? How it reproduces. And a big thing, how it's adaptive. Okay? Where we are, our climate and our weather isn't going to be the same way that it is in Arizona. So that should affect the type of flowers that we have. So down here you kind of have a little bit more information. Your goal is like your target. How you guys like have a target in math and language arts, what you need to do. Your goal is to create a 3D flower model that represents a flower native to Virginia. Okay? If you want to keep reading, you'll be able to do that when you see this page. I want to move a little bit quickly. so that way you guys can get researching. So your role is that you're a talented floral designer, and you're going to showcase your talents. Okay? So you can read that a little bit more in your groups. Your audience, so let's say we were really going to present this. Think about if you were going to actually present to a local florist or a nursery, or even if I had Miss Gary come in and check out your 3D models, and then she could use her expertise to give you some feedback.
Oh, we could do that.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool one to do. So I will ask Miss Gary about that. All right? So, right here in this section, this is where you're going to be able to access some information for your research. So it's important that your research gives you proper information about the flower's parts and their functions. Me and Mr. Pearson are going to be sticklers about that. Meaning, you should be able to know, whichever flower you pick, you should be able to tell us its parts and its functions very well, because that means you did good research. Okay? It's also to have a good timeline for completing your flower model. So today is mainly going to be research. Mr. Pearson and I decided you guys are going to need some time to research. You come in again on Thursday, I believe, to start building. Once we start building, you have 2 days to make your 3D model. Okay? And that's like the real world. Okay? We have projects and they have to get done.
Yeah, we all have deadlines too. Like we just got an email today that someone needs some information from us. We have to get it in by Friday. So deadlines are real. That's life.
Exactly. You kind of get an idea of what that's like. And then just to get you guys started, now obviously one of the biggest things, your flower 3D model should be able to stand on its own. Okay? We don't see people outside holding flowers up. All right? It needs to be able to stand on its own. And obviously colorful. But I put that in there just in case. I don't want any...
You know it has to be colorful because otherwise it wouldn't attract any insects, right? It's just like a white and dull and ugly flower. It's not going to reproduce.
And that's the biggest thing. What is it about your flower that allows it to reproduce and survive? So I gave you a couple of websites. Now, when you go to these websites, when I was looking over them, they're mainly just pictures of all different kinds of flowers from Virginia. So I thought it'd be a really cool thing for, as a group, you kind of go through. It's called a database, where it just has lots of information about flowers from Virginia. And you and your group just look at them. They're just pictures. And I just want you to explore the pictures and to look at what's interesting, okay? I also added here, this is going to take you, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. It's going to take you to a web page, okay? Now, you should be thinking about your text features. We've got our title here. We've got almost like chapters in the internet site. Now, I took it where it takes you right, so plant guides. It's almost like a, what'd you say, Mr.? It's like a, almost like a picture dictionary, I guess, for flowers, is what a plant guide is. Sometimes I've heard of field guides. So here are for different areas of Virginia.
You might see something that, you know, like out at your house or out like at the park, like, oh gosh, like that looks familiar. I've seen that, you know, around here. And that's just gonna, you know, you might not know the name of it, but you can see it and recognize it, and this will give you all the information about it.
And let me show you guys what I did. So I went to just native plants from Northern Virginia because we live in Northern Virginia. So I thought I'd look there. So like I said, now this one, it gives some background. Now, use this table of contents to help you find where you want to go. So if we're looking here, which part of this guide do you think we should probably focus on if we're looking for flowering plants? We're looking at our table of contents here. Brian, if you're looking, which page do you think I should start at?
Turn to your group, talk to your neighbor, your group about that. What do you think?
Because you guys are about to do this, so start planning. Where do you think you would go in your groups to research? Which chapter? Which section do you think you would need to go to?
I have to hold the camera.
So that may give some information. Anywhere else you would go to give you information about flowers in Virginia?
Google. I would go to Google. I would go to Google. If you go, I think it's 5 sections. So we're saying
Yes, that could be a good spot. You know, something else I'm seeing, I'm actually seeing the word flowers right here. You may not know what that word is, which is fine, but it gives you a hint as to what's going to be in that section. So we also might want to check out page 6, okay? What did you guys say?
We're gonna move
You
so
were going to look
much.
at this document. Where would you zoom into? Page 6, yeah. We see, you may not know that first word, which is
What do
fine,
you
but
think?
you see the word flowers there.
You guys think?
Okay?
6.
Good. Good. You may not know this. That's fine. I'm not a master gardener. I don't know everything about plants either. However, we should have zoomed in right there to give you a clue. All right? So each of these plant guides, they have a table of content. You guys know how to use a table of content, so I don't think I should have to review that. Now, once you've identified what flower you think your group is going to focus on, then I would use the research databases that are in the library resource section in LCPS Go. And Ms. Grimm you've been going to that section for a while, but if you guys need help with that, Mr. Pearson and I will help you with that. All right, so any questions at the moment? Yes, Joseph?
Are you going to provide us with colors, or do we need to use our own?
Like for the building materials?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are going to use what's called a maker space. Okay? Basically, it's a lot of recycled and
You're going
just
to make
different.
it. It's not going to be a real flower. You're going to make one.
Yeah.
So you're going to research one. You're going to reproduce it with whatever, construction paper,
Good question.
straws,
Oh my God.
pipe cleaners,
I can stop
stuff.
now.